not signed, but it asks a specific question that I think might be interesting. Hear your answer to. And again, we start with you, Kyle and Alex. What is your opinion of the new Greek housing plan?
I'm actually not too familiar with that plan. I understand the basic concept of it, that there will be a quadrant of Fort Hays State property where the majority of the Greek houses will be located. And I think that that's an interesting prospect. I think that going forward, that will allow a better chance of accessibility for the student body to these Greek organizations, because they will know where to find them all in one place rather than trying to wander the one-way streets of downtown Hays and trying to figure out where these houses are located.
Carolyn and Braden, and you understand the question?
Yes, I do. I think looking at a redevelopment of Greek housing is probably a good idea, because right now, not all the chapters have their own house. And so I know I went to the Greek housing town hall just a few weeks ago before spring break, and I know that it's literally in the ideas process. It's sort of in a pre-planning process, but right now, because there are so many ideas out there, it's kind of hard to get a feel for what exactly it is that the Greek students actually want, because we all have different ideas. But I think letting each chapter have their own house and a known location and an actual place where we can be where the Greek students can be represented on campus, I think is a great idea. But I think we need to learn a little bit more about what the Greek community wants and what the planning process is going to be.
I would just like to add on that. I don't see a problem with Greek housing. There really can't be any negative things that come from it. So why not support student organizations like I've said this entire time? We're student organizations, so let's support all of the other students. If they want to be a Greek member, let them have the housing and let's support it.
All right, our next question comes from Luke and goes to Carolyn and Braden. How do you plan to make Fort Hays State more environmentally friendly?
That's actually a good question. I know that there's a lot of things going around right now that are trying to make Fort Hays more environmentally friendly, and I think it's not, it's not always prominent unless you really make an initiative. I know we have the garden that's on campus. I know we have a lot of things. We have great recycling programs. I think those are just things that need to be emphasized. Like the garden, not a whole lot of people know about the garden. And I think something like that just needs to be re-emphasized, and we need, SG needs to support things like that. Whether it's through, collaboration, working with student organizations who are working on these initiatives, or finding out how the students would feel about, using our money to support things like that. I know it's not cheap, so that's why I say let's take it to the students, because the students always need to know where their money is going. So if we were to develop an environmental plan, I think it would definitely need to reach the students first.
All right, and for Kyle and Alex, how do you plan to make Fort Hays State more environmentally friendly?
Environmentally friendly is something I've actually took an initiative on this year through the Clinton Global Initiative. It's something President Clinton put on. Actually, I was just in DC last weekend, and everybody, I guess it's a philanthropical event where everybody makes commitments to better, society and the communities around them. And our commitment was to better inform all Hays residents about the recycling program, and that's we'll actually get started on that really, I'm sure you guys will hear about it next week. We'll start on that, and that's informing the recycling program that no one really in the Hays residents don't know about right now, so that's something I'm looking forward to. It's actually, if you take the blue bags, your recyclable ones, so if you recycle now and you put everything out on the curb or wherever next to your trash can in blue bags, the recycling company or whoever picks up your trash, they know it's recyclables, and a lot of Hays residents don't know that, and that's something we're going to advocate to them. And also we're looking to advocate more about the recycling program on campus here. The university should be the leaders, and we should be the ones that are proactive in starting recycling. And it's not good that Fort Hays isn't really too active in recycling. I know we have some recycling bins, but a lot of them actually students don't know. But they get picked up the same as all trash. So you might be throwing it into a recycling bin and actually it just goes to the regular trash. And that's something we're going to start working on with the trash company here on campus. So I mean, that's something we really worked hard on, me and a few other students, and it was just a great pleasure and honor to, we actually got paid for it by the student government, so that was it. And President Hammond was in on that too, and it was a great experience, and we got so many ideas, and it's just a great program, and I really look forward to making the recycling program on campus a lot better than it already is.
We've gotten some great questions from the audience here tonight, and it's too bad we don't have time to go through all of them, but we want to honor the 15-minute time limit that we set, so we're going to conclude with this question. I hope I'm reading this name correctly. I believe it's Malcolm Norris. And the question is, what can you do to get more funding for diversity affairs? And it goes to this side first.
As we've alluded to at the beginning of the meeting, one of the issues that was brought up over the course of the year for Student Government Association were fee increases, one of which was through the Center for Student Involvement. They currently operated through the union's budget and didn't have a budget of their own despite the numerous programs that they participate in and sponsor. And so since this fee passed, it will allow CSI a lot more latitude in their program. And one of the specific line items for this fee increase was an increase in diversity affairs funding to go towards different kinds of programming. And so this is something that SGA in the future will work very closely with the CSI office, because in order to be a university that stands by their motto of forward thinking, world ready, we have to be ready to educate and inform students on what it means to facilitate a diverse environment.
Carolyn and Brady.
I think fundraising is a really big deal because every student organization does their fundraising. While we don't do as much because all of our money comes from different places. I think first of all, in order to be able to do fundraising, we need to promote diversity on campus because it's out there. We have diversity affairs. We have, the groups that support diversity, but I think we need to support them more because if we increase the support, if we increase the awareness about the diverse issues, the diverse people that we have on this campus, I think we might get a little bit more support for fundraising and spending money on issues that concern diversity affairs.
And I think this also is really important with President Hammond as well, because President Hammond is trying to make this a more diverse campus by bringing so many international students on campus. So I think support through student government with the fee increase we just passed and work with them. And like I had said before, collaboration between student organizations. If they work with student organizations who have more funding, that just increases the funding for all of the groups on campus. So I would really support collaboration and continue to push what we had just passed this last session.
All right, that concludes the questions, and I just want to make a couple of comments in conclusion. First is